Talk to you about even before we start is that at DEF CON, one of my co-presenters that I traditionally speak with, a friend of mine named Mike Murray, who's got a real big interest in careers. We do a lot of presentations together, and we never really are able to get real strong, hard data. So one of the things that we launched over at DEF CON was a survey about career management, self-investment, personal growth, these types of items. It's an independent survey. It's not even done with my organization. It's hosted on SurveyMonkey. I'm sure you guys can hack SurveyMonkey, but we'll stand by their level of security. About 10 or 15 minutes, and what we're trying to really do is to create some real good, solid data about security professionals and how they're managing their careers, how they're investing in themselves. And we're going to be publishing the research via major magazines and probably at the RSA conference and as well as other presentations. So if you guys would participate and pass it on, it'll probably take about 10 or 15 minutes. It's completely anonymous. I say that tongue-in-cheek because I guess nothing is completely anonymous, but it is anonymous. You get to, if you want the results yourself, you can type in an email address and that we'll be able to send it to you, but it's completely not tied to your results. Why do you need to effectively manage your career? I mean, why is this important? It's important because when you have your career, everybody has their own impressions about what they want their career to be, what they envision their career to be. And they also have a lot of either true conceptions or misconceptions on how they will eventually achieve their ultimate career goal. The truth of the matter is that our industry is getting quite popular. If you look at any of the top 10 fastest growing careers, you always see information security or network security or some iteration of security as important as one of the top 10 fastest growing careers. You're seeing university programs increase dramatically. You're seeing certifications and training bodies and conferences, and people are just taking this information security bandwagon and really jumping on it. The career is really becoming a more mainstream career. We see that a lot with our large organizations where they used to treat security pros as special. Now, if an organization is going to be laying off 10% of their folks, I guarantee that 10% of the security team will be affected as well. When it comes to compensation trends, security is not getting special skills consideration as much as it used to. The competition for your positions and the most sought-after positions are increasing. In the future, differentiation is going to be the most important thing. It's not going to be enough to be smart. It's not going to be enough to be good. You're going to have to be smarter and you're going to have to be better if you're going to achieve the desired results that you want to. Hope's really not a strategy. This won't just happen to you. You're going to have to work on it. So the presentation, what we try to do is I try to pick out like 6 or actually 7 different items that are really core characteristics of people who can really effectively manage their careers. So I think the first thing that before you do anything, you have to have something to work with. You have to have a good foundation, and that foundation normally happens with skills. If you don't have skills and you don't have something that is of value, you traditionally don't have a career to manage. So you have to figure out what skills you possess, and that's unique. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Are the weaknesses that you have, are they worth developing? Are they critical to your long-term success? You should also figure out what you do best, what you do better than most people. You're going to hear that theme of differentiation through the presentation. That, I think, is going to be key. You always have to try to express what it is that you do better than other people. What are the things that you're most proud of? You also have to stay relevant. I mean, I remember recruiting in the mid to late 90s and finding, people who had skills with firewalls. And back then, finding somebody with firewall skills was like hitting lottery. Now everybody has firewall skills. Skill sets in information security, if you are not current, you become obsolete very quickly. Some of the folks that were running around as quote-unquote rock stars at, in the late 90s, early 2000s, their skills have been blended into, what I consider to be very commonplace today. If you don't adapt, you're going to become obsolete. We have a running joke in our office that nobody ever failed an interview because they were too technical. I've never seen that once in 13 years. No one said, the person's a great candidate, but they just know too much about technology. But I've had tons of people fail interviews because they say, oh, I used to be technical, but I don't do that anymore. That's not a badge of courage. It's not a badge of honor. People don't like to hear that. But people are very proud of the fact that they're past that. They think that that's good. It's probably one of the biggest misconceptions within this industry and within people who are quote-unquote managers. It's those non-technical managers who are going to be looking for positions in the next 90 days. When companies thin themselves out, when they start realizing, they start saying, who's critical to the day-to-day operations and who's critical to our long-term planning? And what they normally do is that they trim the middle. So the folks that have kind of been skating by on their quote-unquote organizational skills traditionally are the ones that are effective when there are downturns. So it's important that you really have to have a crystal ball. You have to see what's happening in the future. You have to be a little bit ahead of the game. And I think that an organization like Owasp, from the evolution of this organization, I think that they've done a really good job of marketing and promoting the agenda of application security and web application security. And I think that you've really kind of brought on a lot of folks jumping onto that bandwagon and picking up that skill. Now the thing is that when anything gets mass marketed, take for instance something like a CISSP, the more people that own those certifications, the less relevant your certification becomes. So the more people that have it, the less need that it is, the less need that there is for that skill. So whatever certificate, and I'm not picking on CISSPs, I'm not picking on certified ethical hackers or one of the 40,000, the SANS GX certifications. I'm not picking on any of them. But at the same point in time, if you're a member of those types of organizations and those certifications, I think it's very important for you guys to play active roles in your memberships, to police those memberships, and to make sure that you guys keep the bar high for people to share the same badges of honor that you guys share. And I think that when you look at OWASP, I know there's always been talk about OWASP certifications and the development of an OWASP certification.